Hello, welcome back to the Sewing Circle. My name is Leslie and this is my channel. Okay, this is Friday, so this is Friday Sews, and today we're going to be talking about all the things that have been happening in the Sewing Circle in the past 2 weeks, and I'm excited to share with you a lot about this quilt back here. I have a surprise sewing hack for the Drunkards Path. I am going to be doing a giveaway, and we're going to be talking about all the things that have been exciting in the past few weeks. So stick around, let's get started. So for last week's giveaway, the question was, so what do you find most challenging in sewing? Any kind of sewing, hand sewing, any kind of sewing. So I got one answer. And I wasn't even sure if it was a clear answer from one of my subscribers. So because of that, I was giving away this pattern, and because I only got one slight response, I'm going to go ahead and add another pattern for this week, and I'm going to ask the question again. So in the comments, if you want to win both of these beautiful patterns, this one is got this lovely top that ties in the front. You can see the line drawings. This one is just this beautiful stripy V-neck crossover with lots of sleeve options. This is the line drawing. Both of them are just beautiful tops, a Butterick and McCalls. So if you want to enter this giveaway, first of all, answer the question in the comments. What is your most challenging part of sewing? And secondly, you must be a resident of the United States because I can't ship outside of the United States. Please subscribe and like this video in order to be entered. And let's have some fun. Let's give away these patterns. So you who entered last week, you are already entered. I will give you the opportunity to enter twice since last week it was only you. And let's go ahead and make this blow up, guys. Let's make this really fun. I also have a little extra surprise gift that I'm going to be adding with these two patterns to the one who wins. And I'll be showing that next week. So next Friday. So let's talk about this Drunkard's Path behind me. Is your jaw dropping? Now, the beautiful fabric that I use for this is called Bubblicious. So if you're looking for this fabric, if you want to zoom in and look closely, it's gorgeous, but I gotta show you some of it. So look at the solids. You see some of it hanging up next to this. This is the solid background fabric that I used. It is an ombre sublimated fabric that changes from this baby yellow all the way to this deep navy blue or marine blue. Now, what's so cool about it is it comes in all different kinds of colors, and you'll see it on the bolt. It'll be on the bolt like this piece. It looked pink, but then when I opened up the bolt, look at this. This fabric changes from pink all the way to green, and all of the colors work this way. They change colors. There's these beautiful designs and bubble circles. Okay, I want to show you how I use this paper pattern to create the perfect curve on my blocks. So what I did is I made a copy, and normally you cut out this piece and use them as a template, and you can see there's points to glue together, and if you quilt at all, you know how to do this. But I wanted to modify it to create an easier, quicker way to piece these together that would work really well for me. So what I did is I made 100 copies of this because there's 100 blocks. I actually made several copies, cut them apart, and put a bunch of them on one page, and then made more copies to come up with my 100 copies. I then just cut them out. And the main concern in cutting them out is not perfection, because what we're going to be using is this stitch line and only this stitch line on the curve. So if you decide to do this, just basically get them pretty close to cut out perfect, but they don't have to be perfect. Then what you're going to do is you're going to have your blocks. Now, the way I came up with my block size was based off of this pattern piece here. And as you can see, I measured it, these sides, to create the perfect block, because this is basically going to be pattern A, and we're going to use this to make pattern B. I also cut blocks the same size for pattern B, which would fit this curve. I then took solid white. You can use more like a plain interfacing, a really lightweight, some other kind of lightweight fabric. I just used these pre-cut white blocks that I had on hand. And I laid these two pieces right sides together, butted the corner of this template right up against the corner where I want to place it. And now I'm going to stitch just this curve right on that stitch line. So I put it in my machine. I make sure that it is lined up pretty perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and stitch on that curve. And I didn't even pin them in place. I just held them like I'm showing you right now, and got them lined up and stitched along this edge. I just have a regular universal needle in, and I just stitch right off the edge of that template. After that, I just removed just the paper template, and I just do it by pulling it off this curve. Now, I saved all of these that I removed because I can reuse them and just make them a little bit smaller, creating my own new seam allowance, and just seam right along this edge again for a curved edge. Once I just got rid of the paper piece, I trim really close to that stitching, because it's going to be a curve, so not so close that you're going to cut the stitching, but close enough to make it easy to turn. And I, just for video sake, I'm going to go ahead and trim off this excess white just so you can see what we're after. It's all going to get trimmed off, so it doesn't matter, but right now I just want you to see what we're doing really clearly. So after I did all that, we then go ahead and flip this in, as you well guessed. Flip it, and then you're going to press it. And when I pressed it, I rolled the fabric out so that the white kind of comes under like this. And that way, once it's put on top of the block and top stitched, you're not going to see the white fabric at all. The next step is to top stitch this edge to the block. Because I'm using such a variety of colorful fabrics, I chose to use this color changing thread to top stitch this edge. I then just made sure that the points are lined up, that this whole edge is lined up. And then I just stitch very close to that edge. I'm going to carefully top stitch along that edge. That rainbow thread just really blends, makes a really nice finish. Then we're going to take out our pens, and we're going to flip this back, wrong sides out. Use our sewing scissors, our fabric scissors, and just carefully clip close enough to that edge so that you just barely have a seam allowance, so that it doesn't interfere with any quilting you're going to do of your quilt. And this is the finished results. This is how I created the blocks for my Drunk on Color quilt. I went to a sewing retreat down in Citrus Heights. It was really, really fun. It was 4 days, and I did drive an hour each way for 4 days in a row just to participate. I met so many kind and talented women. It was really fun. It was at the quilt shop called Runs with Scissors. And there I also met a lot of people who love sewing Lori Holt, which I'm currently obsessed with. So we got to spend time together, share our sewing makes, and just get to know each other. Now, the lady that ran the retreat is so cute. Her name is Rita, and I think it's Treckler, but I will put her name up here for you. You must check her out if you live anywhere in Northern California. She hosts retreats from Sacramento all the way up to McLeod near Redding. Now, what I love about her is she's not just hosting these retreats. She has her own business on Etsy, and find that below. She does these beautiful, I mean, they're artistic blankets made for memories. So like she does children's clothing, she does men's t-shirts, she's done, I think, dog, like the ties from dogs, and created these beautiful fabrics out of all of the pieces that make these gorgeous quilts. I watched her work on several of these over the retreat time, and I was so impressed with her. I asked her permission if I could share here. So go check out her Etsy. I really think you're going to be surprised. I wanted to share also another project I worked on at the retreat. Just a second. So this is a book I picked up recently. It's a Lori Holt Farm Girl Vintage quilt. She has Farm Girl Vintage, she has Farm Girl Vintage 2, and then The Farmer's Daughter. And they're all beautiful books with all of these blocks inside. And can you guess which block I started with? I know it's asking a lot, but if you know me and you've been around on my channel, you know that my husband nicknamed me Strawberry Angel, and I'm obsessed with strawberries. So let me put it up on the book so you don't see through it. This is the first strawberry I made. This is the 6-inch strawberry, and I really want to make the 12-inch ones for the quilt, but I wanted to try it out and see if I like the 6-inch better. It's a little bit tiny. The pieces are a little fiddly, as you can see, so I decided to go with the 12-inch. But isn't that just gorgeous? Isn't that just fun? This book is so full of fun things. So I'm going to be working on this. Also, down at the retreat on Saturdays, the first Saturday of the month, they have, I should say at the quilt shop, not the retreat, they have a Lori Holt sit and sew. So you can work on these blocks. And so I'll be doing that. So I was telling you how cute Rita was. She had her little spaces all set up. I think I might have taken some pictures. If I did, I'll share. But she had these cute, cute, cute little chicken pin cushions at each of our places. And she kept them, but she had our name tags on them stuck up on a little thing so that we each knew where to sit. And this is just a special one because can you see what's on it? It's strawberries. Now, I think of my husband as chocolate because he is got chocolate eyes and he has darker skin. And so these are chocolate strawberries on here. So this is just extra cute and extra special. And I found a YouTube that shows you how to make these. So if you're interested in making a chicken pin cushion, look at her hair or her comb. You can look on YouTube and find these. Very, very simple. And I think that this one is stuffed with walnut holes, they said, so they keep your pins sharp. I think this pattern's been around for a while, but she's just so cute. She's going to go in my sewing room and be my little friend. And I named her after the lady that sat across from me the whole retreat. Her name is Karen. So anytime everything went wrong for me on this back here that I was working on, I'd be like, oh, Karen, it's not working. So I told her that I'm going to put my little chicken in my sewing room so I can say, oh, Karen, it's not working. So that's a wrap stitching, friends. Stay sharp, stay stitched, and I'll see you next week on the Sewing Circle. Bye.
falls into the sky. The summer was alive, going to the end of time. I can see the daylight. I swear perfectly, is it really the end? Just so like a stranger, so far away from me. You said you're running for me, but I managed from our story. Baby, don't be sorry.